Hey, howdy. Mr. Musk, he's having fun labeling CBC and other companies as well as being government funded. That's great. I mean, in the case of CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, they've received more than $1 trillion, that would be with a T, dollars from Canadian taxpayers over time, and they're not needed. They should just go away, and all that money every year should go into the pockets of the Canadian citizenry, right? But Twitter then should also be labeled, because they too have received tons of money from taxpayers. And Musk's other companies, Tesla and other, billions of dollars of government money, taxpayer money. So I get it there, Muskie. I mean, you're doing a good job, and I'm a supporter of yours. I'm a fan, hey, but, maybe kind of talk about what your companies get as well. Just share it. Now, the Prime Minister in Canada, Justin Trudeau, he has called free speech as destabilizing. Destabilizing. Do you get that? The government of Canada is creating a new digital safety commission. This is what he says. I mean, the agency will monitor internet content deemed hurtful. Who's the deemer? It ain't you and it ain't me. I mean, what's hurtful? Anything that hurts them or that they think is hurtful, of course, you're not allowed to talk about it anymore. The government of Canada, he says, is committed to developing new rules for platforms that are backed up by strong enforcement mechanisms. Hitlerish? No kidding. This is terrible. His censorship bill now has gone through the House of Commons and the Senate, and people from around the world, the US of A, London, England, doesn't matter. India, wherever you're watching this show from, y'all need to pay attention because it's a country gone totally rogue, right? I mean, Saddam Hussein and Adolf Hitler and so many other countries and people from around the world watched them and paid attention and said, hang on here. This is not stable for the world. Y'all better be watching what's going on in Canada. Back to his censorship bill. And it's passed everywhere and everything. And the CRTC now, that's the government agency that looks at all this stuff and makes sure that everybody's doing the right thing. They're the referee, I guess. And he says, Trudeau says, on the same day that all of these rules come into place, he launched his own internet channel on YouTube. And the CRTC now and other people will help him because his postings and his ratings, I mean, he's getting all kinds of negative comments, I understand that, but I'm surprised he hasn't removed those, but he has to leave them at this point in time. If you understand these internet things, because he gets higher rankings. Soon, on my show, you'll be seeing his picture before and after because of his ratings. This is all well planned. Actually, they're doing a good job of destroying a country and branding it into their own image, right? While destroying it under this system of censorship. Government gatekeepers will now have the power to control which videos, which posts, and other content that Canadians can see online. They also have thought police. They control so many other things in your life now. And this is just another step. It's a big step, but it is just another step. I mean, members of Parliament in Canada, they can't talk about it because if they do, they get kicked out, and they're not allowed to be part of the group any longer. It's kind of unbelievable. Canada is governed, or the government system, I should say, is British/Westminster, and which means that it's kind of like the king of old. You have total power. And 70% of all Canadians didn't vote Liberals, and probably 80% of the ones who did, they're not in favor of this either. I mean, Canadians don't want this. This is a bad thing. I mean, they want freedom. They truly want freedom, and you have a little group of people that have said, we don't want you to have freedom, so we're going to take it away from you, and they have the power to do that. You have the power to vote. They have the power to cheat. Will they? Kind of, sort of, maybe. We will see, but you got to get rid of these people, and you should maybe change the system. It's like the old king of old thing, King Charles I. He lost his head, by the way, because he was pushing that power. King Charles II, he came along and said, hey, I'll do better, and he didn't. Now we have the third, and he doesn't have a whole bunch of power anymore, so we're kind of safe. You think? Hey, not so much in Canada, because you still have people there acting like royalty of old, the monarch of old, because they're running everything and they're ruining people's lives. Now, members of Parliament in Canada on both sides of the aisle, this is another thing. They have transition support money, $15,000 per member of Parliament. When you quit, you retire, or you get voted out of office, you get a check for 15 grand. These are people that have pensions forever. They get paid 2 to 3 times more than any Canadian citizen. And if they do a good job, people would want to hire them, right? They'd want them on their board of directors. But a lot of them don't do a good job, and when they come out, they're kind of isolated from the world because they screwed everybody. Bah, bah, bah. And now they get a transition thing. Geez, that's not very nice. No wonder the country's in trouble. You know, in Canada, over the past year, there's been over 2 million visits to the food bank. 2 million. People can't afford to eat anymore. Gasoline is almost $10 a gallon. Well, and the whole country, the management of the country doesn't exist. The management is only, or the leadership is only to take away your freedom and put you into this little thing, in this little box where we can manage you. Wow. World, what can you do? I mean, talk about it. Everybody needs to talk because you'll have an influence in the next election. Hey, see ya.